Oogie. Quick snack time. I need a snack. You know what? You're right. Let me go grab a snack. Quick snack time. Okay. Got some snacks. Maybe we take a little break before I get right back into the market chat. We start with a little breaker. Okay. Oh man, I need a little break, chat. Let's start with the little break. Probably gonna get demonetized for this, but fuck it, dude. Fuck it, dude. What do you want to watch, chat, while I eat some snacks, and then we'll get into the market. Get a little break from talking about the market since we just got off of a different show. Why are you crazy? What'd you do? Go to McDonald's? No. I wish I could went to McDonald's right now. Fuck. Now that you mention it. God damn it. Yo, is there nothing good to watch right now? Jesus. Literally nothing good to watch, chat. My life right now?
He pulls a gun out of his waistband, throws it on the ground, does a backflip, and then runs off.
Following the blood trail.
I just want to make sure we don't have a dead body because they're cut up.
Start 43, have a male on the ground, gunshot wound.
Not just any person, a 14-year-old kid.
A 14-year-old?
God damn it.
When police at the University of New Mexico receive chaotic reports of a shooting, vandalism, and missing children on an otherwise quiet campus, the response pulls baffled officers in different directions. As they begin to suspect the incidents are all connected, one horrifying discovery plunges the night into a full-blown crisis.
That's when I just started losing my mind. I was like, I couldn't believe what I did.
The following is based on official police records, and some of the footage has never been seen before until now. Please note that all persons charged with a crime are presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty in a court of law. At around 1:30 a.m. on July 25th, 2025,
it's around my
a
birthday.
mother calls 911 to report a possible emergency at the University of New Mexico campus.
What's going on there?
So my stepson called. He has my son. He's 15. There was 3 of them playing a video game. They heard gunshots.
Did they see anything? Or
Gunshots over a video game? Hey, yo.
As far as I know, my stepson says that they just heard it. But they left. Yeah, they left the room and they didn't see my son, my biological son.
What's your son's name?
Michael Lamont.
Dispatchers transfer the caller, Liana Lamont, to the UNM Police Department, the university's dedicated law enforcement agency.
What is that?
Her son, 14-year-old
University of
Michael
North
Lamont,
Minnesota?
is 1 week shy of his 15th
What's
birthday.
UNM, chat?
But by the time she makes her report, officers are already at the campus, responding to glass break alarms triggered at a building called Mesa Vista Hall, just across the street from the student dorms, separated by a parking lot and tennis courts. While there, dispatchers receive another 911 call.
Hi, I would just like to report something my friend and I just saw in a lot near the tennis courts.
Okay, what's going on?
We were just parked there and with the windows up, and someone was trying to speak to us outside the car, and we ignored him, and then he brandished a gun, like a firearm.
Brandished?
And he unloaded it and threw it on the ground, and then we just drove away.
Officers quickly review security footage from the parking lot, and what they witness is anything but ordinary.
He pulls a gun out of his waistband, unloads the magazine, racks it back, throws it on the ground, does a backflip, and then runs off.
The young male, wearing light-colored pants and no shirt, is seen on camera retrieving the gun before he runs away, leaving officers searching for an armed suspect that could be anywhere on campus. That is, until they receive a tip on his location from the Albuquerque Police Department.
I guess 19-year-old male was FaceTiming his parents, I guess on top of the roof of either the Einstein's Bagels or the technology something business there.
Okay.
But I guess he's on the roof. He said that he was laced unknown drug, and then he passed out on the roof.
Officers head up to the roof, and the connections between the two separate reports quickly begin to emerge.
Wait, these are the pants from that dude, isn't it?
It's on 21.
Oh, right here. Yeah. Oh, this one.
Yo, chat. What the hell, man? Why would you take a gun to a drug party?
As they continue their search, officers spot a trail of blood that leads away from the rooftops.
Where's the blood at? Yeah, leak down. Yeah. Well, we don't know if he's higher or lower, so. That'll with keys is ridiculous.
I hope this dude's not bleeding out, bro. It's a lot of glass you broke up there.
Hey, dude.
Where did you see the glass from?
So it's on the other side. It's on the roof, so he broke 3 windows over there.
And the clothes, Sarge, look like the pants of the kid that flashed the gun.
With an armed teenager still at large, possibly under the influence and likely injured, finding him as quickly as possible becomes an urgent priority. Meanwhile, Leanna's son, 14-year-old Michael Lamont, is still unaccounted for. The situation grows even more complex when police receive a call from the UNM hospital, telling them a university student has arrived at their emergency room. The victim, 19-year-old Daniel Archuleta, has a non-life-threatening graze wound to the back of his head. He arrived at the hospital with 19-year-old Zion Mira, the half-brother of 14-year-old missing teen Michael Lamont. Police question Zion, whose account ties each of the incidents together. Zion explains that the suspected gunman, who he calls John Pork, is a friend of Daniel's. By his account, the four of them, John, Daniel, Zion, and Michael, had been hanging out in Daniel's dorm room just before John began
I just had some snacks, but this video, very interesting. I'm gonna have to watch it. I'm gonna have to watch it later. Very interesting. Water, agua is the best. My God, nothing beats water. Okay. Where are we? Let's talk about FOMC. All right, chat. So tomorrow, obviously, sorry, just reading. Tomorrow we have, what is it? FOMC rate decision currently being priced in at about, let me bring in the screen. Currently being priced in about, oh my God, everything minimized. Oh, everything minimized. We're having a horrible day today. Okay. Some stocks reporting earnings today after hours. GME, Cracker Barrel went to the downside pretty drastically. AVAV got smoked also. Dave & Buster's was moving around slightly. Casey could give you a trade but low volume. We'll throw it on the watch list. Tomorrow pre-market, Chewy, UEC maybe if it gives you some opportunities. Besides that, I don't really see anything. And then the ones that reported today, nothing burger, really nothing on that side. Campbell's did give you a little bit of an opportunity today, so maybe Campbell's can go on the watch list. CPB, Sale Point was a nothing burger. ARQQ was a nothing burger. So yeah, not much to really talk about. I guess the only thing we really need to be talking about is the FOMC tomorrow. So why don't we quickly go through a little bit about the FOMC overall. 87% probability that we are going to get a rate cut tomorrow. But then, on the STN show, we were taking a quick little glance at the future rate cut probabilities, and the future rate cut probabilities are right now not looking so good for January 28, 26. The FOMC rate decision is only at a 69% probability, yeah, but that's on the fact that we're not gonna get a rate cut and we're gonna stay stagnant to the rate cut that we're gonna drop down to tomorrow, most likely. And the same percentage is being expected to hover around for the March rate cut also. So it looks like the markets right now are pricing in some stagnation after the rate cut, and maybe down the line we'll see how the numbers and the call it the PPIs and the CPIs and all other metrics come in and sway these numbers and sway the market strength and weakness overall. But at the moment, yeah, not looking good for the future earnings reports for the future FOMC interest rate decisions, and how Papa Powell tomorrow at 2:30 at the conference call, how he replies to some of his questions, and if he's hawkish, if he's dovish, those things will obviously come into play and impact the market, impact some of these metrics and numbers overall too. So very important day tomorrow. Some of the stocks in general, such as our QQQ and S&P 500, as I mentioned, expect some sideways action and some inside days, and that's exactly how it played out today, right? Inside day on the S&P 500 and on the QQQ, and just waiting for the FOMC tomorrow. If you know, for the most part, probably gonna get a nothing burger out of the FOMC, and depending on the hawkish comments or the dovish comments of Powell, then we see actually which way the market wants to go to. Potentially a new all-time high on positive comments, and then clearly no new all-time high on negative comments, right? So looking forward to see what type of opportunities we get out of the comments overall. I think the interest rate decision for the most part has been priced in. We're not going to expect something big, but we were playing the devil's advocate on STN. What if out of the blue you actually do get a double rate cut? And a double rate cut would be insane in my opinion. Market would start flying to the upside, but then Joel had an interesting perspective, which was, you know, a double rate cut potentially could create some could create some turmoil, some possible lack of trust being created, because they think that they have to interest rate cuts so drastically to save the market. So possibly that coming into play. I thought it would be more just straight to the upside, but I think Joel had a very good counter argument about the double rate cut. And playing the other side of the coin also, which is you know, not getting a rate cut or getting a rate hike, which is out of the picture. But what would happen if that comes into play, right? If we're being bearish, hawkish right before the year ends in FOMC committee, and then the words that they say, you know, and then that's not gonna cause proper faith in the committee. It's not going to cause proper faith in the market and the structure overall. So obviously we're going to see some money bleeding, some more downside incoming. Now these are the more outlier scenarios, not scenarios that I'm expecting tomorrow to come into play. Most likely a nothing burger, and then how Powell reacts to the questions and the comments will be, which will be a much more important way to analyze the market and to see how it plays out. So 2:30, 2 o'clock, most important times for us to keep an eye out for. However, some names did report today earnings after hours, and they were moving around quite a bit. One of them being GameStop, GME, pushing to the low end of the ranges. I have a line here at $21.50, which happens to be not the most recent earnings report, but the one before that low. And looks like we are basically forming a flag on the 5-minute chart in the after hours over here, forming a flag around that area. So failure to stay up above 2150 tomorrow almost is a no-brainer trade for the short side. But staying above 2150 is just no more shorts at that point. Possibly a long into 22, possibly a long into 2250, but I'm not expecting the stock to completely reverse and go back to the 2350 and go back up higher, mainly because the earnings report was very weak. It was I guess not weak, but it was overall mixed report. They beat EPS, they missed revenue, nothing burger report in my opinion. So it could easily just do nothing and be boring tomorrow. But if it does come into play, I think, you know, the decisions will be made around that $21.50 on GME. Next stock, real quick, before I actually go there, let's go take a look at what people are saying in the chat. Hawkish comments from Powell probably won't matter because he is out next year. That might be true. Is it guaranteed that he's out next year? We'll see if it is. That'll be pretty. You know, I got my money on Kevin Hassett to become the next thingamajig, whatever you call him. Members only. All right, I'm hitting members only stream. Everyone who's not a member, you're getting screwed. Yeah, so you know, I think it will still come into impact a little bit, but yeah, for the most part, people are thinking Kevin Hassett will absolutely take the market to new heights, and if it ends up playing that way, that'll be funny. Okay, next stock, Cracker Barrel. Cracker Barrel got slammed to the downside on the earnings report here. There's another stock that I need to add to my report or watch list because they were moving around in the after hours, which is GEV. Coming back to, however, Cracker Barrel. Cracker Barrel pushed to the downside here, 25.60 breaking and really struggling. So struggling to stay above that most recent low would automatically get me ready and excited for shorts. So looks like you know, it's still struggling below it. Any pops and weakness around this area, I'll be looking to join the short side on this name. So 25 to 25.50 is what I'm looking for as a resistance area on this name. Cracker Barrel. Purple priority, GME, purple priority. AVAV, another earnings name, initially went to the downside, then popped all the way to 290 and then came all the way back down. Very choppy at the moment, very mixed report also. But that 250 260 area is something that I'm keeping an eye on. It's 260 257. If we do start getting below that low, potentially more downside coming into play on AVAV. So keeping an eye on this name, but the priority is not as high as GME or as Cracker Barrel in terms of earnings play. Talking about play, look at PLAY, the ticker, which is Dave & Buster's. Originally was testing $17 on the low end after the report, but now here we are, breaking to the high side. Looks like some moves above the most recent week high. 1830 was the most recent week high, so peaking above that is a very good sign. I'm gonna actually put in $18 to $18.30 as a zone to keep an eye on for PLAY, because any pullback and showing me support above that, I think is very worthy to keep an eye out for a long on this name. Good stock, nice little breakout, good little day trade opportunity. You don't have to risk too much on a name like that, and you might end up getting a very good risk to reward out of it. KC, low liquidity, but earnings name breaking below most recent lows near 554. So I'm expecting a pop into 554 or a pop around that area and then getting rejected right off of that. So showing me some sort of an opportunity like that on CASY for the day trade will be interesting. And since these are earnings names, you know, the chances that they don't have to wait for FOMC to move the market might be a little bit more true, because some of these Nvidias and the other stocks out there, they're gonna wait for FOMC before they give you a big move. But GEV, not an earnings name, but GEV, PLAY, CASY, CBRL, GME, all these other earnings names that I have been mentioning, they don't, you know, they won't require that FOMC catalyst. They'll start moving a little bit because they have their own little catalyst coming into play. So GEV, I think they upgraded full year, and because of that, they're basically pushing into all-time high territory. So basically keeping an eye on into the all-time high zone to see how the stock reacts tomorrow. Speaking of tomorrow, stock reporting earnings tomorrow. Chewy, any movement above 35 is worthy keeping an eye on. I think a break above 35 as a day trade will be very interesting. And then, you know, just looking for opportunities to join on pullbacks as long as they're holding above 35 on Chewy. UEC is the last earnings name that, you know, I'll keep it on watch because it's been on a little bit of a run-up with the rest of the uranium names and so on, such as NE NNE, sorry, or OKLO, nuclear names in general. So UEC, worth keeping an eye out for. And with their earnings report tomorrow, what's going on over here? With their earnings report tomorrow, possibly getting above this 1450 or something, 1440, make things a little exciting. So on the watch, I'll keep it on. Last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, Cracker Barrel CPB. Did we already talk about this? No, not. Sorry, Campbell Soup CPB. We talked about Cracker Barrel, but Campbell Soup. We talked about how the $29 area might be important today, and it was. But I thought it would be for a bounce. Instead, it was not able to find any buying around that 29, and it got slammed to the downside later on, got popped back to 29, and then failed again. So looks like some opportunities here tomorrow, most likely for us to trade, as long as it's still weak below 29. I think an opportunity to look for the short into 28 could be something to keep an eye out for, but a low priority trade, honestly. Very low priority trade. Let's see, Trade Desk. Somebody mentioned Trade Desk on the STN show. If it gets below 38 or gets above 41, it could be a little interesting, but I'm not that on looking for this. Instead, because tomorrow is FOMC, I think it's better to look for stocks and opportunities that actually move off the FOMC report, like the QQQs, your TQQs, your SQQs, your TQQs, your SQQs, TLT, IBIT, which is apparently getting some traction in the after hours over here. Well, traction to the downside, that is. But Bitcoin movers, even Ethereum, which was having a good day today, ETH USD was up almost 6% if I remember correctly. That is your ETHE, the ETF on the stock market, ETHE for those of you interested. So that's a good one. MicroStrategy is another good one. Basically trying to copy Bitcoin move over here. If Bitcoin can get above 94, 95K, I don't see how MicroStrategy doesn't start getting above 200. So looking forward to see how that one gives us a trade. Netflix currently having some back and forth action based off of its most recent buyout deals. Looking forward to see if Netflix shows you some weakness below $95, and if it does, that's a good short over there setting up. I'm basically saying 95 to 95.30 because that is today's low and yesterday's low. So if it starts to get below 95.30, I might even start putting the trade on at that moment. But then getting below 95, I'm really excited to look for that weakness on Netflix over here. So try not to catch falling knives on that bad boy. But yeah, that's basically the gist of the watch list for tomorrow. I think a quick little summary, nice little 30-minute show today. Not even 30-minute because we spent like 15 minutes eating food and watching YouTube. But in the meantime, if you guys have anything on the chat to talk about, let me know what the hell you guys want me to chart, right? And then we'll put it up on the thing. Did you watch the Diddy doc? Of course I watched the Diddy doc. Come on, bro. A lot of stocks on my buy list drifted higher. That's good. That's good. Always good to see that things are going up again. But did you actually buy your buy list, or were they on just simply on the buy list? Hawkish comments from Powell. I think we've talked about that already. I never understood the hype around Cracker Barrel's food. It's mid. I mean, I've never been at a Cracker Barrel, so I wouldn't even be able to tell you if it's mid or not. I don't even know what food Cracker Barrel sells, sadly, so I can't tell you that at all. Recovered another 10% from my last update, brother. I hope tomorrow has some big movement for me to play on. Let's go, Super Ziggy. Look, taking losses are part of the game, but it's those who are willing to keep fighting, keep clicking buttons, keep gambling, always keep gambling. It's those people who come back victorious, or they end up at McDonald's and start begging for food. But hey, at least we tried, because no risk, no Rari, okay? And I wish you nothing but great fortune, my friend. Always good to see you in the chat. Are you bearish on Netflix? No, I'm not really bearish on Netflix, but I think there is still more downside coming in, because think about it this way. If you're a shareholder and you just now got into a Netflix deal with Paramount, or not Paramount, with Warner Brothers Discovery, Warner Brothers Digital, whatever they call themselves, right? WBD. HBO. Basically, HBO is part of Warner Brothers. So if Netflix is coming in and buying out the deal, then naturally Netflix stock price goes down a little bit in the short term period because they're gonna be out of a little bit of money. However, that's only like what 25 billion. Netflix probably coughs that money up in their sleep in a quarter, right? Um, so considering that, Netflix naturally goes down on the news of the acquisition deal, merger and acquisition deal. But then on the day of or next day, Trump comes out and says, "Okay, guys, I don't know if the deal's actually good. We're not gonna let the deal go through, or this is not a good deal." That has got to cause some sort of confusion as shareholders and investors, right? If you thought that was good news, now the administration, which is known to be lenient and known to let all these type of deals and mergers and acquisitions go through, they're coming in and saying, yeah, this might not be a good idea, then that is a deal blocker right away. It use that as an argument to the merger and acquisition, like, okay, the deal fell apart, so maybe the reason that the stock would go down will now revert and take the stock back up. Technically, that does happen sometimes, but what also happens most of the time is investors and shareholders, they go, oh wow, my incompetent CEO who is working for me as a shareholder, CEO is working for you, my incompetent CEO is doing a shit job and now not even able to close on a Warner Brothers deal. Like, they can't even acquire HBO. How garbage are you guys? I lost my faith, I lost my trust in you, and then they start dumping their position more. So based on that ideology, I'm thinking Netflix, this is a lose-lose situation for Netflix, They buy the company, they go down. They don't buy the company and they get blocked by the government. They go down a little bit more, and the deal actually goes through. They still go down. So I just don't see a scenario where the stock price wins. Keep in mind, right? However, stock price is not the same as the company. The company is not the stock price, and the stock price not the company. So the stock price could go a little bit lower. And because of that, just be careful. Try not to catch a falling knife. As a short trader who likes to look for shorting stocks, generally, I think the break of 95 could give me some opportunities over here, especially given how expensive PE ratio. What is the PE ratio of Netflix? Right, it used to be in the red, not PE anymore. 40 PE, forward PE at 29. I think that breakdown of 95, 95, 30 is going to give me a nice little easy short where I don't have to risk too much on it. So that's basically the idea over there on NFLX. That's about it. Okay. Where are we? The deal won't go through. If it did, Hollywood CA would collapse. I mean, Hollywood already collapsed. Let's be real. It already collapsed. Fitzgerald raises the forecast on ABEO. The more upgrades coming out, it has so upside that nice. So it has an upside that and a breakout is coming that even the earnings data said all this yesterday already. All this blah, 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 blah. I can't read. Buy it with what? Netflix stock? What are you talking about? Buy. Well, they got cash reserves and they make billions of dollars per quarter. They don't have to dilute the stock, right? And they're buying it for like what, 30 billion, 27 billion? I think 27 billion, something like that. Quick, what's going to debut this week in Netflix? Fallout 4 or whatever, or the new season of Fallout, maybe, hopefully. If not, hopefully the new season of One Piece. If not, I think Records of Ragnarok already launched a new season. I gotta go watch that. Answer: the guy who lives in a department store and robs stores. Fallout is on Amazon? Oh shit. I didn't even think about that. Well, for someone who doesn't pay for any of these streaming services, I would not know. I just watch them. The guy who lives in a department store and robs stores. Yeah, I don't know if I know what you're talking about. Christmas or TH. I have no clue what the heck you're talking about at all. I didn't even know Fallout was on Amazon. That's hilarious. But chat, that's basically all she wrote. Tomorrow will be a much more interesting day because we actually have some good names on the earnings board. So let's quickly go over that. Tomorrow you have Oracle, Adobe, Synopsys, PL, some real big heavy hitters that I'm going to be watching out for. So make sure you tune in for that one. And then Thursday after hours, which will be the final day of the stream. And we're also streaming Thursday at 1 p.m. on STN channel, so make sure you tune into that one if you are in the STN channel. So AVGO, Lululemon, Costco, these report that day in the after hours. We'll be watching this one. NTSK, didn't the stock get popped up today? Oh no, we're talking, oh, NTSK has been on fire. Holy, okay. Never mind, I forget the ticker. But yeah, good names Wednesday after hours, good names Thursday after hours. We'll be very interested, and then also we'll be back to regular streaming schedule at 4:30 starting tomorrow, and which means I will have a lot more energy for you guys, and I'll be able to create more content for you guys. So we'll be back to your stream. I will not be filling in for STN. I think they're going on a couple days vacation themselves. So nice little break for me, but I will be back on that channel on Thursday. All right, chat. Nice little short little watch list for today. Sweet little watch list, and ready for tomorrow. Let's go make some money. I'll catch you guys 4:30 p.m. Peace.